What's up, everybody? Good morning. How's it going in the chat today? So you might be surprised to see me. I'm Jen, if you guys haven't met me before. I am filling in while the team is on their retreat this morning. I'm super stoked to be here with you guys for New York Open. Yeah, I'm excited to trade today and just see what the market gives us. What is up, everybody? What's up? So I have just been so far kind of looking and seeing what's been going on. Let's zoom out and just kind of see what the market's been doing since yesterday. We had this nice push up. Looks like most of Asia session, we really kind of consolidated right below this area. We've had continuous resistance up in this zone. We've kind of just been in this channel and in this range. We're still getting nice moves. There's still a lot of opportunity, I think, in the market right now. But for me, I'm really interested to see if we can finally push and start moving higher above this area. As you can see, we just kind of touched Friday's high of day that we hadn't been able to get back up to since Friday. And so I'm really interested to see what we do up in this area right here as the New York Open starts. So as the market opens, that's what I'm trying to say. We also have a special guest coming on that I'm bringing on to hang out with us in a few minutes. So I am excited for her to pop on with us. Gonna get some of that Janalis. That's funny. What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? So I always like to zoom out. Hopefully everybody is doing this. I think it's pretty normal to do that kind of top-down analysis from the higher time frames. On the daily, we are touching, so I use the EMAs. I don't know if anyone else likes to use the EMAs, but we've been in this channel, right? On the daily chart, you can see we finally have gotten a close back above the 9 EMA and are touching that 20 EMA for the first time since Thursday. Of not last week, but 2 weeks ago. We also are kind of starting to break this. We had like a daily downtrend going. I don't trade off of trend lines, but I like to draw them, especially on the higher time frames, just to see structure. So we had this 3-point trend line, right? Had this big push down, pulled back up, failed to go higher here. And then here we failed to go lower. So we're kind of in this area where we've been forming this big wedge. And we're finally breaking out of that toward the upside, which gives me a little bit of confidence that we might actually start to push up again. So I use the 9, the 20, and then the 50. I don't use the 50 as much. It kind of just lives on my chart. But I put the most weight into the 9 and 20. The 9 is the blue, the 20 is the orange. And if you don't know about EMAs, they are lagging indicators. Exponential moving average is what it stands for. And whatever the length of it is, takes into consideration the previous number of candles. So if it's the 9 EMA, it's taking into consideration the previous 9 candles, but the most recent candles have the most weight, right? So with a simple moving average, it's just evenly calculated. With an exponential moving average, the most recent candles carry the most weight. And ultimately, to me, I just see it as, when the 20 is stacked over the 9, we are in bullish structure typically. And when the 9 is over the 20, As you can see over here, it crossed and started to push up. We're more bullish. Personally, I use them as a guide on the higher time frames just to understand like the direction of the market. But then as we drop down to the lower time frames, which is where I execute, I care most about the 5-minute EMAs. And when I'm looking for entries, I typically want to try to find entries that are close to the EMAs versus extended. Because as we get extended from the EMAs, it's really common that we want to pull back and retest those areas. And so I will often, if I'm looking for a trade, look for a pullback into a level and an EMA for extra confirmation. There's a good example of that in the pre-market here with this Asia high. We pushed out, we are overextended, pulled back, tested, and got bought back up, and now we're pushing higher. What's happening in the chat, guys? Good morning, good morning. Yeah, I don't know about those R3, R4, S3, S4. Not heard of those before. Good morning, Francis. Do I stick to the 15-minute chart for the EMAs? I'm guessing you mean for the EMAs. I personally have the EMAs on every chart. I just like to use them to see direction. And a lot of times, interestingly enough, the higher time frame EMAs will line up with lower time frame EMAs. So we are getting that push. We held above that Friday high of day, and we're getting this push up higher. So what will be interesting, I kind of have this whole zone marked out as a resistance or supply area, as some would call it. But I'm going to go back out to my screen. Hopefully it doesn't overwhelm you guys. I've had a lot of people make comments about my screen being pretty busy. But something else distinct about how I trade is I am always watching multiple time frames. And then I'm also watching the top 4 tickers of the NASDAQ. So I trade the NASDAQ, and I'm always looking to see what Apple, NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Amazon are doing, because those 4 tickers hold the most weight in the NASDAQ. And so on days where they're all conflicting and going different directions, it's quite common that we see chop. And on days where we see movement that's synchronized between these, those are the best days typically for me to catch a nice trend entry and trend move. Yeah, we have NVIDIA earnings today. I don't believe we have other news that's red. I only really personally pay attention to red folder news. I don't know about you guys. But yeah, not anything too crazy today. If you trade crude oil, that's at 8:30, the crude oil inventories. Otherwise, we have a couple FOMC members that are speaking. But it's all yellow folder, which personally that won't keep me from taking a trade or staying in a trade. Alrighty. So I always like to look before the market opens as I'm preparing to trade at just the direction of what's happening with these 4 other tickers, right? Have we been consolidating like we were during the overnight session on the NASDAQ? Have we been trending? How spread out is the pre-market high, pre-market low? All of those types of things. to just really get a clear picture of if before the market opens, are these moving in sync? Or is everything kind of one thing's chopping, one thing's trending up, one thing's trending down? Just because it helps me gain confidence, I think, in what type of trade I'm going to be looking for. If we are going to have a rangy, choppy day, typically I will take more of a scalpy trade off of my levels. And if, you know, it looks like everything's kind of moving together and we might trend off the bat, then I am more prone to hold my trade a little longer, look for more of a trend move. And that's when I will catch a larger move, which hasn't been happening a ton the past week or two. Had a lot of contradiction, specifically between NVIDIA and Apple. As you can see right now, Apple's kind of making lower lows and lower highs. NVIDIA is making higher highs and higher lows, trending up. Let's see. All right, guys, I think that my special guest is here and potentially ready to join us. So, Colin, whenever you want to bring her on, I am ready for her. Oh, there she is. Everybody in the chat say what's up to Sasha. She is one of my OG mama trading Instagram friends. So I guess if you guys, I guess I didn't really intro myself well. I've been on here a few times, so I've kind of told my story and my background, but I'm a mom of 2, soon to be 3. I'm actually pregnant, and you know, I've bonded a lot with Sasha because she is also a new mom, and we both are just navigating this whole trading thing, trying to do our best to be moms and learn this skill that's incredibly amazing, but also super difficult. What's up, Sasha?
Not much. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Also, I have a scratchy throat because my kids gave me some sort of germs from preschool. You know how it goes. So if my voice continues to crack, I apologize. Yes, another mom of 3 in the chat. Okay, so Sasha, give us a little bit about just your story, how you started trading, how long you've been trading, what you like to trade, just the broad strokes.
Okay, so I have been trying to learn how to trade for several years. I hate admitting that, but it's just part of my story. And I know there's others that can relate. But I started basically kind of buying and holding like crypto in like 2018. And then I kind of dabbled, like I tried to learn Forex and I would join like a MLM. Some of you might have remembered like Tradeify or those crazy pyramid scheme type crypto things, but I'm grateful for it because it led me to trading eventually. Like I came back around to it. But you know, the beginning of my journey was just really painful with a lot of like scams and things like that. But I kept being curious. I just was traveling a lot as a flight attendant, and I knew I wanted to start a family, and I needed something that I could see myself being at home and not being away from my husband and daughter. So actually, when I got pregnant, I really, really locked in. I joined a mentorship in April 2024. And it's kind of funny because the very first day of that like challenge was the day I found out I was pregnant. So I really try to just claim that I've been trading for a couple of years because that's where it really clicked that, oh, you really need strategy. Like I didn't quite understand. I was just like all over YouTube trying to piece things together. So I've been like diligently trading for a couple of years now.
Love it.
And what I trade is exclusive. I exclusively trade gold right now in the Asia session.
Asia. Yeah, that's like one of the things that I love about futures is as a mom, there's, you know, since it's like always open, we can kind of choose. There's been seasons where I've exclusively traded power hour because that's when my daughter was napping and I couldn't do the evenings and I couldn't do the mornings. Like you can make it work around your schedule. So it's cool to hear that, you know, a lot of the motivation came from your daughter, because I think there's a lot of moms in the chat I see right now, and, you know, something just changes. I think when you become a mom, no matter how career driven you've been in the past, it's like suddenly you just have this like overwhelming innate desire to be present with your kids. And so that's like, I think what's so cool about trading and about just the opportunity with prop firms with such low barrier to entry is that for moms like us, it really gives us an opportunity to have the best of both worlds, which I didn't think existed until I found trading. Honestly, it was like, okay, I have to choose. And now it's like, no, I don't have to choose. I can contribute and I can be a mom. So it's so cool. I love connecting with other mamas. I had no idea that there was a MLM for trading. That's wild.
Yes, I used to be in the MLM scene. I grew up, my mom sold Mary Kay, so I thought it was very innocent, and there's nothing, I don't have any ill will towards it. It's just not for me. So naturally I found the crypto. There was a couple of them.
That's so funny.
I mean, I started crypto like super, super early, and then I just transitioned where like, I want to take this more seriously. Like, I don't want to tell people that I'm just trading like weird altcoins. I want to be like respected as like trading like the markets, like in an intelligent way.
Totally. So. Totally. I mean, I won't lie. I've been in the MLMs before too. I feel like there's a certain personality type that is drawn to trading. And I feel like it's people who like have that drive, that entrepreneurial, like desire to build something and make something. And I think that's present in the MLM space very much so, right? Yeah. It's a certain type of person who's like, I can do this. The thing I love about trading over the traditional, I did essential oils back in my early 20s. I had a roommate who did it and like dragged me into it, and actually built like quite a good business with it and everything else. But what I never loved about it was that it was always reliant on having to sell something to somebody and try and convince someone to, use the product and hit these milestones and the goals. And I think with trading, it's just nice. Go ahead.
Make the list of all your friends.
Oh my gosh. Back in the day of like the Facebook message that would come from the stranger that's like, hey, remember me from elementary school?
Yeah.
I think you need to shampoo. Yeah. No, I have a bunch of friends that do all of the direct sales stuff still. And I buy a lot of products from that because some of it is great. Anyway.
And I like supporting anybody's like whatever they're doing to stay at home and work from online.
Totally.
I want to help.
Totally. All right, Sasha. So I know you don't trade New York session, right? At all.
Not in this season. Yeah.
But what has your read been just on the market lately? Like with how's gold been moving? I dabble with gold. I haven't fully switched and committed to it, but I've had a couple friends recently be like, Jen, you need to just trade gold because NQ's kind of been slapping me around a little bit.
Well, gold will slap you around too, but like I told you, I was, they don't know, but I am on a trading detox right now. So this is the first time I've looked at a chart in like a week.
Oh yeah, I forgot that you told me that.
It's okay. It's kind of a relief, honestly, but I do get FOMO, but I'm working on my brain. I'm working on the psychology of your brain. So the detox I'm taking was like, close your charts. Don't even look at them. Work on your dopamine and the frontal cortex. So I've been doing like meditation and walking and journaling and reflecting on the self-sabotaging habits I kind of was having. So
yeah. So what are the main, do you feel like you're making progress with that? Like, what are the main things that, you're getting
Yeah,
out of it so far?
I think the hardest part that I noticed is because I was learning a new strategy, um, I was just so eager to be on the charts that taking a break, like it's just like my ego just didn't want me to. It was like,
Mm,
really? No trading? Like taking the apps off the phone? Like what? And I think that even that feeling was like proof that I was having like an addictive behavior towards trading. So it's been a nice reset. And I've really just been journaling, you know, all of the reasons I have been kind of in a regression a little bit.
totally.
So I think
Totally.
it's going to be helpful when I come back, honestly. And I'm really excited about some of the new stuff I'm adding to my charts because I was only trading trend lines and support and resistance faithfully. And I just was craving more. I'm like, oh, there's more, there's more. So I've been adding like SMA and the orb breakout and some
Love me an orb
Fibonacci
breakout.
levels. Yeah, so I'm really eager. I have a lot of confidence that this is gonna be so much better than what I was doing.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. I feel like one thing that can be interesting as a mom, and I don't know if you've experienced this, but like with littles, especially because your daughter is uh quite young, right? Like under a year
Yeah.
still.
Yeah,
There's
she's
just
14
there
months now.
I don't want to say there's a lot of downtime because as moms we're super busy, but like I don't know, when I have days where I'm just home with my kids and they're chilling and they're playing, it's really easy to just have the charts up and like over even if you're not trading, just like consume too many candlesticks. You know, like you're
Mhm.
just watching too many candlesticks and it can burn you out. I felt that
Yeah.
recently with,
Yeah.
as you know, I'm pregnant and I've just not been getting out of the house as much as I usually do because I've felt super crummy and been super tired. So I'm like, I'm just going to rest. So then I'll be on my laptop and I'll just be like, well, I wonder what the market's doing. And honestly, it's led to like some over trading and some really silly mistakes because I'm giving myself too much time to look. Like there is something
Yeah.
about just like not looking because if you're a trader and you like to trade and you have the charts open and like it's really hard to not be like, oh, well, that looks like a good setup, and just keep
Yeah. It's like your brain isn't
trading.
actually resting if you are
Hmm.
still consuming it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm interested to hear once you finish the detox and you come back. Thank you for taking a small break today. You can not look at my charts if you don't want
No, it's
to. But
okay.
all right.
It's
So
not
let's
gold.
let's
So,
shift gears since we're about to open in less than 2 minutes and just talk a little bit about what's happening right now. We were talking earlier before you hopped on just about how we've been in this channel um, on NQ specifically. Well, I think on ES as well. I don't really watch ES, but we've kind of just been bouncing between these two levels for days now. We finally pushed up and broke above Friday's high a day in the pre-market, but it's looking like we got a little bit of a rejection, pull back here to that area, and now we might be bouncing up. So personally, I think that if we open with some strength and can build a base up above this like pre-market high into like 25,200, we could see more upside. Obviously, we never really know what's going to happen. And also, we have NVIDIA earnings later today that might, whenever there's a big player like that reporting earnings, I feel like there can be a little bit more indecisiveness in the market that day. So we will see. Yeah. I have been known to take really quick trades and scalps right off the open, but I'm not going to lie to you guys. I have gotten clapped a few times the past couple weeks doing that. And so I'm trying to take a little bit more time, wait a little bit longer, usually the first 15 minutes, let the market settle before I take a trade. Because just with how volatile and whippy the market has been, like I said, I've gotten clapped a few times and it's just humbled me. Anyway, market is open. let's see what happens. We are getting that nice initial push up. Does it sustain? Do we sweep the level and push down? I'm going to check the chat and see if we got any questions. Someone's asking what time you like to trade gold in the Asia session.
I'm Pacific Standard Time, and I like the 5 to 7:30-ish window. But since I've been learning the orb, I am on the charts at pre-market now. So if I can get an early entry, that's always nice. And then I'll close the charts and be done. But
5 to 7, I'm trying to think, is Pacific time 1 hour behind where I am? So what is that in Eastern time? What time do you get on in Eastern time? Are you on when Globex opens at 6 p.m. Eastern?
yeah, I would be at the charts then. That's when you'll see like a big move.
All right, we are getting this nice push up. I think these are, let's zoom out a little bit on this chart to the hourly. This might be it, guys. We might finally be breaking out of this endless range that we've been in, which is quite exciting to me. I don't know about anyone else. All right. Bias is short for someone. Good morning if you guys are just joining. Let's see. Someone just got clapped. Oh no. Yeah, lately it's been pretty difficult to trade in the first 15 minutes, but this is a nice push up. I mean, as you can see, like I was talking about earlier with what I use these 4 tickers on the right-hand side, NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon for, I'm really just looking to see, are they moving in the same direction? Are they hitting their levels and rejecting? Are they starting to trend? All of those types of things. So you can see with that big move up, everything was pushing up together. So there's a lot of momentum behind that move. But now we see NVIDIA and Apple both wicking down pretty aggressively. NVIDIA off of its pre-market high and Apple off of its pre-market high in New York close, right? After filling that gap that it had there. So I am hopeful that we are going to actually be bullish for a bit, but I'm going to wait to take any trades, like I said, until things shake out in the first 15 minutes. Try and be super disciplined. Yeah, make sure if you guys haven't already, give us a like. And obviously, hopefully you guys are subscribed already, but if not, like, subscribe, do all those things. And we will go from there. How big is this 5-minute candle? 158. Nice, almost 100-point opening 5-minute candle. When's the last time you traded New York session, Sasha?
I really couldn't remember.
Been that long. Good for you for being that disciplined.
Except for maybe like an occasional lunch reversal when my daughter was like down, but that's really me breaking my rules. So, but I've really enjoy the Asia session because I have to have like my full morning routine done and like my mental state right before I can trade. So if I try to rush it because I'm Pacific Standard Time, I gotta get up at like 4 a.m. you know.
That's true. I
So
didn't
it's
think
just
of that actually with being in California. That would be hard. The real difficult place to trade New York session is Hawaii though. When I go home to Hawaii and wake up to trade New York session, it's freaking brutal.
what is that like what time? I know it's crazy
It
difference.
fluctuates because they don't have daylight savings. So it's either 3:30 or 4:30 a.m., depending on the time of year that the market opens.
I remember when I was a flight attendant, Hawaii was one of the harder time zones to hop through.
Yeah, it is something else, but it's worth it. If anyone's been there, you know. Do we have a light goal for today's giveaway? You know what? I don't know. We didn't talk about giveaways. I'm sure we can do one. I don't see why we wouldn't. I'll get some info on that. I think we need to set like record likes. We need some record liking happening here. I haven't liked it. Let me go like it. Boom.
I haven't figured out how to open the chat because when I had YouTube open, it was giving me feedback.
You just have to mute it. Just mute it and then open it, mute it, and then pop out the chat. Boom, boom, boom. Stalling out at this 244 area. A little bit, gonna push higher. I'm from Hawaii. Sasha is not from Hawaii. Sasha's you're from California, right?
Hold on, I'm typing. I live in Los Angeles, but I'm from Oklahoma.
Oh, she's from Oklahoma. The southern.
I guess I'm supposed to claim LA, but I feel pulled toward Oklahoma all the time still.
I feel like Oklahoma is cooler to claim.
I know, but I lost my accent. I don't know. Can you hear it?
Not really.
It used to be strong. It used to be stronger, more twangy.
Yeah. Happens. All right. Anybody in the chat taking some trades yet? There's lots of opportunity on that push up for sure if you are a breakout trader. Lots of momentum in that move.
I commend you for trading while pregnant. I had to take a break when I was pregnant.
Yeah, it should be. I've been joking. It should be illegal to trade while pregnant because it, like, you know how you technically aren't supposed to trade until you're 18, I think. I think that similarly, you should not be allowed to trade while you're pregnant.
Because hormones are just all over the place.
I just have zero patience and very little self-control. And I'm much more impulsive, for sure. Like there have been moments where I take a trade and I'm like, what, like what? What was that? Someone's in gold shorts. All right. I am having a weird issue with my broker right now. I don't understand why. All right. Anybody in the chat like to use volume price analysis? Anybody read that book by Anna Cooling? That is a very big part of my strategy. So as I'm sitting here watching the first 15 minutes kind of form, we had this big, strong trend-setting candle that broke out of that zone that we've been stuck in. Made new highs since Friday. Obviously, the opening candle is always going to have the highest volume of the first handful of candles. But I am a break and retest trader, so I don't trade the breakout. I look for a pullback and confirmation with volume and price action. And so part of what I'm looking for when I'm looking for that pullback is I want to see the pullback on lowering volume, because if we push up and then we have a big high volume rejection and start to sell off with higher volume than we pushed up with, typically that signals a reversal and is going to end up just totally stuffing you, right? Like you're just going to get clapped. So for me at this point, right, something I would be looking for is the pullback to this area between the 9 EMA and pre-market high. I don't have any levels up here between until this next zone I have up here, these highs. So if there was another level up here, let's say that this was overnight high and pre-market high was way up here, I would want to see the pullback before we take my level out, and I would want to see it on lowering volume. And then I want to see confirming price action at the level. So right now for me, I'm not interested in anything unless we pull back to at least this like 194, 195 area where the 9 EMA is sitting on the 5-minute. The name of the book is called Volume Price. It's sitting right there. A Complete Guide to Volume Price Analysis by Anna Cooling. It is a phenomenal read. It talks all about how to read these volume candlesticks on the bottom in conjunction, or sorry, the volume sticks on the bottom in combination with candlestick anatomy, right? So typically what I'm looking for is volume that confirms, or I'm looking for anomalies, right? So an example of an anomaly would be when we see a very large candlestick push up with a full body, smaller wicks, we would expect that candle, if it has a larger body than the other candles, to have higher volume. That would not be an anomaly. That would just be confirmation and what's expected. If we saw a very large trend-setting candlestick with a huge body and smaller volume than previous candles, that would be an anomaly, right? If we saw a candlestick form at the top of this push up and it has a really small body, small wick, small body, and higher volume than all the previous candlesticks, really high spiked volume, right? That would be an anomaly. And what that's telling us in that instance, right, if we have a higher volume, small bodied candlestick, it can be a reversal signal because it's showing that buyers and sellers are fighting at this level, and sellers are not letting the buyers who have been in control continue to push price up. So if you haven't read that book, I highly recommend it, no matter what your strategy is, because it just helps you better understand how the market moves and what the candlesticks are doing. It is definitely one of the keys to how I trade. About 15 seconds and we'll have our first 15-minute range, the 15-minute orb opening range. Do we have any other orb traders in the chat? feel like the orb has become so popular. What do you think of the orb with gold, Sasha?
So far as I've been watching in the community I'm in, it looks pretty promising. So
Yeah.
there's just so many different types of orb that I don't even know.
Yeah.
Because I know our community has like a special orb for gold on Asia, and it's a little different on indices in New York. And
because of the different times that the market's open, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I just like, sometimes I was struggling a lot with my bias, and I feel like it gives me more confirmation of like which direction the market wants to move for that session.
Yeah. All right, so we're immediately pushing out of the range with, if you look at my 1 minute chart here in the middle top, highest volume we've had since the opening candle of the market, right? Super high volume, buying pressure, pushing out of the top of the range. So this tells me we might not get the deeper pullback that I originally was wanting, and we might be able to look for an entry up here to go higher. I don't typically love to enter right as we break out. I want a little bit of extension out of the range and then a pullback to the top. We also are very extended from the EMAs on the 5 minute right now. Doesn't mean we won't just nuke to the moon still, but for me, it signals that we might be due for that pullback. And so I don't want to be the one hopping in and getting, again, clapped. Nobody likes to be clapped. Maybe that when we do a giveaway, our keyword, it's not right now, so don't put it in the chat. We'll do something about being clapped or not getting clapped. All right. I wish I could get my broker to work. Five-minute orb. Yeah. Yeah, I actually love the 5 minute orb as well. I think it's slept on. The 5 minute orb paired up with the 1 minute volume and price action can be chef's kiss off the open when we have a nice trending day. Even I wonder if it played out today. I wasn't really watching because, like I said, I haven't been trading the first 15 minutes, but kinda. Didn't really get an entry I would have taken, but it was there. Okay, so we pulled, we pushed up, getting a little bit of extension. We do have rising volume on the 5 minute. We have about 1.5 minutes for this candle to close though. So if this pushes down and we end up with a hammer candle with higher volume, that is also something to be aware of. What means something different in the UK? I only trade options. You only trade, or sorry, I don't only trade options. What am I saying? I only trade futures. You only trade futures also, right, Sasha? Or do you trade options?
I trade Forex on my live account just because I like the smaller 0.01 bot.
Nice. I got a Tradeify crypto account and haven't quite figured out how to trade. I don't understand. I need to do some research and understand the sizing. Because did you see on my story when I posted?
Yeah.
It was like my first crypto trade, and I think it was on like XRP.
XRP.
And I didn't know how to size. And so I just entered what was like in the thing. And I got a good move. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what a banger. And my P&L was 0. And I was like, what is happening?
Oh.
And then I talked to ChatGPT about it. And it was like, yeah, you bought like 1/10 of one contract that's worth like 40 cents. So yes, you caught a good move, but you're your sizing was not right. Okay, so we got a nice strong trend setting candle with the highest volume we've had since the opening candle, right? So this is where that volume price analysis comes in for me in the way that I trade. We did push up a bit out of the range. So now I like the idea of a pullback if we get the confirming price action to the top of the range, all the way to what I'll kind of do sometimes is draw out a box on the most recent down close candle, right? Because that's the most recent area on the 1 minute that we had some resistance, and look to see how we react in that zone. Because to me, the way I view orb is it's really just support and resistance, which is what I trade anyway. So when we pull back, it's not always going to perfectly kiss the level. I want to see it kind of hit that zone. You could even pull the zone up above a little bit because we do have a little bit of a gap here as well. But it might just nuke without us, which is kind of what it looks like wants to happen. Is anyone in the chat in these longs? I hope so for your sake. And I hope somebody's in these longs. Tell me somebody is cashing in on this. Are you mocking my 6 screens? It's actually 8 screens. I can get rid of this if it's too distracting for you guys. Yes. Some people in the longs. Crypto has more fake outs. Nice. For me, I like these days like this are difficult because, like I said, I like to trade break and retest, and we just haven't had any pullbacks. If you look at the 5-minute chart, and even the 15, there's not a single freaking red candle, right? It's just nuking to the moon without us. So this is where that patience comes in, because I'm not sure if anyone else has experienced this, but I have been the victim many times of, you know, getting FOMO up here and then being like, I'm just going to jump in because I bet it's going to go all the way to my level. And then that's, of course, when the pullback comes. Anybody else?
That's the candle chasing. Candle chaser.
Exactly. Don't be a candle chaser. So now we watch and see if we get the pullback. And if we don't, then we don't. That is okay. You just send a picture of this really quick. Okay. It's just going. She's going. Honestly, I'm still happy, even though I'm not in the long, that we're at least moving out of this consolidation that we've been stuck in. Yeah.
It's weird watching charts and just sitting here. Since I'm on a detox. I'm just like.
Have you ever traded NQ at all, or no, only gold?
No, I used to trade MES because
Okay.
I used to be a swing trader, and then when we got to the all-time highs, I think like 3 or 4 weeks passed with like no setup, and I was like, oh, I'm so bored. So I just started trading lower time frames, and I liked gold. Made the switch.
Yeah. I like gold too. my next buy side level, like where am I looking to buy, or like what's the level that's up here? It's just like so I draw my, since nothing's happening at the moment, I'll do this. I draw my support and resistance levels typically off the 1 hour, and I do it, I'll make like zones, because I used to draw like support and resistance lines like this, you know, and I'd look for the most touch points and whatever. But like if you look, it's not a specific spot that we rejected, it's a zone that we couldn't push above and reversed at multiple times. And so the way that I'll do it is I'll zoom out to the 1 hour, usually is what I like to do it on. And I don't want my zone to be too big. So I'll do it from like the lowest point to a midpoint, and then I'll just drag it left and adjust as necessary. But like if you look, right, this is recent. This is just like the beginning of February 9th. But if you look back, we pushed into this area so many other times as well, right? So I just do this like left to right, and then I pull it across and make sure it makes sense. What I have gathered, and I would argue I've been mentored by some of the best traders, if not the best traders in the space, is that support and resistance, supply and demand, whatever you want to call it, you kind of got to like, you can't overthink it. Does that make sense? Do you use support and resistance at all?
So
Or supply and demand?
I was drawing them in, but the way that my mentor teaches the fib tool, just the 0.5 and the 6/8 level, it puts them in more accurately. So I'm kind of I'm more happy with that, because it still acts as support and resistance the way it's taught. So I've been drawing in my own less often, because they're more subjective that way. But you're really good at it.
Guys, I just did something to my chart and I don't know how to fix it. I pressed a button. I was trying to go,
undo, or
no, because all my buttons went away. Look, all my tools went away and all my buttons at the top went away. I think I might just need to reopen it.
Yeah, maybe if you reopen it, it'll default. I hate when that happens.
Well, there we go. Can you see it? I hit this. Don't ever hit that. That's bad. I was trying to hit this layout so I could go back.
I'm seeing the same thing. Did it change?
It didn't change tabs? Oh, because you can only see this tab? Okay, I'll share this tab instead. There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
I hit this button on accident and it took away full screen mode. It took away all of my stuff. Oh, and the pullback happened while I was messing with that. So that's great. Didn't quite come down to the area that I was hoping to see it come down to. 303. That would have been a little bit bigger of a stop than I like to take. So I wouldn't have taken that pullback anyway. That's okay. If anyone trades fair value gaps, we had a nice tap into one of those.
Christy.
My name is Nick.
I am from St. Louis.
From Orange County, California.
And I'm from Switzerland.
I'm a Midwestern homeowner, which means I spend at least 7 hours a day in my yard.
I like to explore new foods, different cultures.
I do a lot of sports. I go to the gym a lot. I play paddle tennis.
My first ever trade was actually Peloton.
I got into trading originally, honestly, through a Facebook ad.
I bought 10 shares of Apple stock.
Read some hype article about it and decided to just go all in.
My first trade was a Tesla call option from a Signals group.
After COVID hit, they just skyrocketed.
And I sold it a couple days later and I made $37 and I felt like the shit.
Beginner's luck.
Probably about 75% of my trades are in the NQ futures contract.
And curious,
I'm a NASDAQ junkie.
Other than that, I just trade oil and gold, CL and GC.
I just love trading NASDAQ just because of the volatility, the chaos.
why? Because I love simplicity, like just sticking to one thing, focusing on that, and really becoming an expert at it.
Trading has really taught me a lot about myself.
Have a protein shake, I eat some beef jerky, and then I start trading.
I sit down and I get to business.
I'm ready to hopefully make some smart trading decisions.
Sorry. What's up, guys? We're back. Sorry, we had a little technical difficulty. So, didn't really miss much. We pushed up out of that little pullback. It was kind of the first pullback that we had. I was saying, I think right when it dropped, that we didn't quite come down to where I would have wanted to get in anyway. But it just does look like we might continue up a little bit from here. So still waiting to see if I get an entry. But it might just be one of those days that we just kind of push up to the moon. We'll wait and see. So Apple's having a really nice aggressive pullback right now. So is Amazon. Let's kind of see what happens here. That's the 1 hour chart. That should be the 15-minute. Boom. All right. What's happening in the chat? We are being patient, yes. You guys have any questions while we sit and wait and hang out? Nothing. Any questions for Sasha, our super guest? Technically, I'm a guest, so you're the super guest.
You're the super guest. I'm the little guest.
No. That was a nice little pullback. I hate when that happens, when like we get so extended that we pull back, but we don't quite pull back to an area that I'm comfortable taking the trade just because of where the stop loss would need to be. Like if I had entered at the lowest point of this pullback, I would have wanted my stop at the bottom of this previous like trend setting candle, the 5-minute that closed outside the range. And that's like a 35-point stop. It's quite a bit wider than I would have wanted. And realistically, I wouldn't have gotten in at the very lowest point of that pullback. So looks like we're kind of stalling out up here on the 1 minute. Maybe we'll push down a bit more now. Getting a lot of selling pressure on Apple. Everything else is quite extended. What is that squeaking noise?
Oh, I guess it's my dog.
I was like, what is happening?
I need to go steal his toy. for her
That's
toy.
so funny. It's like, what in the world is happening? Is that your baby in the background?
No, she's actually still asleep, surprisingly.
It's glorious.
I'm watching her.
I wonder if we're going to get a little bit deeper of a pullback now. So we did get like a nice bearish hammer candle. First red candle to print on the 5-minute chart was at 8 a.m. That's wild. But it is a lower volume bearish hammer, which is what, for me, if I'm looking for a deep pullback, right? I mentioned I don't want the rejection candles up here to have higher volume than the previous candles. I want it to be a low volume pullback. So we will see. Is her dog eating birds? Oh, that's funny. ES gave you a better entry on the retracement. So funny. What's up, Oki? So funny. Okay. Give us some action, NQ. We're tired of watching you just, unless someone's in the longs, they're probably not tired of watching it just push up. But I'm ready to see something other than just green candles print. Although I won't. Sorry, I'm trying to get my brokerage issue fixed. For some reason, Tradeify isn't letting me place trades today. Someone short. Okay, so I'm going to be watching the volume as we pull back to the top of the range and to this area potentially. We did already tap into that area, so that in and of itself makes it a little higher risk. But if we come down now and we touch this EMA and the top of the range, I will potentially, if my stuff is working, try a long targeting high a day. But I need it all to line up. My EMAs are the 9, the 20, and then the red is the 50. Actually, lately I've had the red turned off. So I'm going to do that. Because it kind of just sits there and distracts me. Someone short MNQ. I like it. I still think that we will potentially push higher. We could have a really deep pullback all the way down into this 15-minute candle and then push up. So I'll just be watching price action and see if there's an opportunity. Want to make sure also that we aren't getting signals of like a full reversal on any of my other tickers that I'm watching. So I watched the 5-minute orb. Well, I was watching the 5-minute orb. I'm taking a break from trading the first 15 minutes for the next couple weeks because, like I said earlier, you might have not been on. I've gotten clapped a few times. But usually I watch the 5-minute orb and the 15-minute orb. I will look for a break out, a little bit of displacement, and then a pullback to the top of the 5-minute orb on the 1-minute. But it needs that same confirming price action. I like it even better when the 5-minute orb lines up with like some of my session levels. Sometimes it'll line up with like a pre-market high or a previous day high, previous day low, something like that. Those are the ones I really like to take. And it's honestly less based off the 5-minute orb and more based off of the session levels. Oops. So this is what I like to see on a pullback so far. Okay, you can see that both of these 5-minute candles that have printed have had lowering volume than the previous candles. Okay, if these had super aggressive volume coming in, it would tell me sellers are putting a lot of pressure on, and there's a good chance we're just going to blow through this area. So should I paper trade it since I can't trade it on my accounts? Lots of people in the shorts on NQ. Lots of people in the shorts. How much time is left in this candle? About 2.5 minutes.
Jen, did you check Tradeify to make sure your trading view is still connected?
Yeah, it's not. I actually just trade on Tradeify. It's all of my like 2 tabs are gold, and it says it gave me like an error message saying that my broker is not connected, or like my accounts have been expired or something, but they're all active accounts. So I don't know what. I probably it's some sort of user error and like I messed something up.
You're gonna have to switch to TradeC. I'm just kidding.
TradeC.
I want to check out TradeC. Yeah.
I know. I haven't tried anything else, but I'm excited for that. I was actually watching a video on wealth charts last night. I might try wealth charts.
I tried wealth charts through Apex, but it was so long ago. It was brand new that I didn't stick with it.
Yeah. So it looks legit, fine. Honestly.
Yeah.
I was always a big Project X fan, but then they started having so many issues, you know, and then obviously Tradeify doesn't have Project X anymore, and Tradeify is obviously my main bay. So
yeah, I could probably try wealth charts again.
Yeah, but we have wealth charts now, and then TradeC coming, which is I'm still liking the idea of this long. I like that this candle body is nice and small, right? What I want to not see when I'm looking to get into a pullback is like another candle like this, right? Like a big trend-setting red candle. Want to see that we're moving down nice and slow. This one does have a little bit higher volume printing than the previous candle, but it's the situation that I talked about before where that's an anomaly because the body is smaller. So it shows that, to me, I'm seeing, okay, buyers are starting to really fight right here. Let me try refreshing this and seeing if maybe it's decided to start working.
You know, I saw someone say log out and log back in.
Oh, I've done many
sure you tried
log
that.
out, logins.
It's like unplugging a
Still not,
computer.
still not working for me. That's okay.
A little trade of 8.
Might just be a sign. Yeah, so 15-minute chart, again, confirming volume on this pullback for the potential long. Which is great. I'll just narrate for you guys since I cannot personally take the trade. Okay, we're coming down to my area, slowly but surely. Is anyone else looking for longs, or are you all just trying to short to zero right now while I'm sitting here like a ding dong saying I want to take a long? Just kidding. Everybody's trading plan is different. Okay, we're hitting that EMA. What I don't like is that on the 1-minute chart, the volume is really picking up with this 1-minute candle. So like I said before, I'm going to watch the price action in this area on the 1-minute chart. I'm also watching all of these tickers to the right, seeing if we're finding support on them as well, right? Because that's what I want. I want to come back to this area and I want us to find support for the next leg up. I like that. If I had my account active, I probably would have tried that. As we closed this candle, this red 1-minute candle above here, I probably would have tried it with stops below this 5-minute green candle. It's really exactly what I look for when I'm looking for a pullback to my level. I want to see the bodies getting smaller, the volume dropping on this, pulling back to my area, right? I like that 2-minute close a lot. High volume, big lower wick pushing out of that zone. So let's see. Could fail too. NVIDIA is breaking down below its 9. But Apple looks like it's found some support, is trying to push back up to high a day potentially. Amazon is kind of testing its previous day high opening print area. I still like it personally. I like it for the long. Do you like it, Sasha?
Yeah, it's aligning with kind of how I'm shifting to trading, because I was doing a lot of breakouts and I'm more interested in pullbacks now.
Yeah,
to lower my risk.
For sure. Nice, Okie. Long at 25,221, out at 357.5. Banger. I'm gonna put this on my screen where my entry would have been so we can just see if it plays out. So would have entered here. Stops would have been here. TP here. Let's see. Would it have been a winner or a loser? I don't like that NVIDIA closed under its 9, but that's okay. The only thing really truly going against us right now, I would say, is Amazon. It's kind of breaking structure to the downside. looking like it wants to push down. Like I said before, I wouldn't be shocked either if we did get the deeper pullback down into this big push that we had up. But gotta try it here with the way I trade. All right. Might end up getting stopped. A little bit deeper of a pullback, maybe. That's a great reaction on the 1 minute. I like this. Go ahead.
I don't feel like the 1 minute is as fast as people say it is. I guess when you're just sitting here looking at it, you know?
Yeah, I like to use the 1 minute. So I like to use the 5 minute for like candle closures and confirmation. But like, because I like to watch volume and price action, like when a 5 minute candle is forming, I like to watch what's happening on the 1 minute because that's telling me what's actually happening within that 5 minute candle as it's forming, right?
Yeah.
If we can break the high of this 5 minute candle, it's looking good. It is looking good. The high of the previous, which we did. It's already hit a 1-to-1. I'm taking
probably going to work out because you're not actually doing it. Why does that always happen?
It's probably going to work out because I'm not actually in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably going to go shoot to the moon. For sure. That is how it always happens, right?
For me anyway.
Yeah. For me, it'll be I'll trade oftentimes like a set of fundeds and a set of evals, right? And it'll be the ones that that I take on the evals always are like bangers. And then the one I'm like, okay, I'm going to take this one on the fundeds. And it's like, it's going to be the one that doesn't work out. Tell us more you see on volume, numbers of CTs you deem high or low, volume you look at, 5 minute daily volume, etc. I don't fully understand your question, to be honest, but what I am watching at this point, so we have about less than a minute on this 5 minute candle. I personally, in a trade like this, want to see this candle that's pushing out of my area that I entered to have higher volume than the previous candle. So the fact that it doesn't mean I won't stay in the trade, but it's just something I'm aware of, right? Because what I'm looking for on a pullback is low volume into the level. Or like in this case, right, the volume was higher on this red candle that printed, but it was when we were hitting the area. But then I want to see us really push out of that area with some momentum and some volume. So it's not a bad trade at that point. I just, maybe I'm like, okay, I'm going to move my stops to break even now. Because this candle, although it is to me a bullish candle, we broke the previous 5 minute candle high for the first time in this pullback, and there it starts to go, right? I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to protect my downside because we already pulled back and bounced. We pulled back a little deeper, bounced again. If we go and break down one more time, there's a chance we might want to break into orb, and I'm going to get stopped out.
I think they were asking how many contracts. That's what I was curious too.
I didn't get
maybe the CTS
volume?
number of contracts, maybe
Number of contracts you deem high or low volume.
You deem high or low.
Can you give me a clear explanation of your question, Lev? I do like what I'm seeing over here, right? Amazon had been kind of pulling us down, but we had this candle with a big lower wick. So maybe we'll start to push up from here. I still like this trade. I like it for high a day or maybe higher. Microsoft is making a new high right now, it looks like. We are kind of stalling a little bit on Apple and NVIDIA, it feels like. So that might be why we're not getting the full push and momentum that I was hoping to see. If it shoots to the moon, I should do a giveaway. I need to get a giveaway approved. Colin, am I allowed to do a giveaway? Okay. Maybe. Stay tuned. Stay tuned, my friends. Is anybody in this long? Does anyone trade similar to this? Look for the pullback, low volume to high a day. Anybody? I'm feeling sad that I'm not in it currently. Nice. Some people are in it. If you got in at my entry, you're up about 30 points. So
maybe my detox is working because I don't feel FOMO.
You don't? I do.
Feel okay.
I feel FOMO on my own trade.
Nope.
How messed up is that?
Maybe it's because it's not my instrument. This gold, I might be feeling some type of way.
Not that long at 299.5.
It's looking pretty.
Someone's fading us. Who's fading us? Who else is fading us? Oh, look at this.
The ones in the
beauty.
shorts.
So we're at a 2-to-1. I would definitely personally trim some up here as we reach the top of these bodies because there's a lot of wicks up here, right, where we were rejecting. But if you're a candlestick pattern person, we have kind of a 3-bar looking to push up here on the 15-minute, which could give us a lot more momentum to the upside. We also have increasing volume, barely, but higher volume on this 15-minute candle that's about to close than the previous candle, which could be good. Nice. 2-to-1, I think we can officially call this one a banger. We called out a banger. Didn't take it, but called it out.
That's not your fault. That's Tradeify's fault.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm fine. Don't worry. Okay, so we are getting a little bit of increasing volume on this trend-setting candle that is about to close in 5 seconds. So to me, that's confirmation that I think we might get more out of this, which is great if you're in it. I don't know if it's Tradeify's fault. It's like it said that my connection is
Oh yeah. Sorry.
canceled or something. So I don't know I don't know whose fault it is. I'm not going to blame anybody personally, but I will say we were just talking about this, but I'm very excited about the new platforms that we are getting at Tradeify, because I agree, Tradeify is mid.
Yeah, it's nice to have options.
Yeah. My biggest thing is when I'm copy trading, I don't know if anyone else experiences this, but like when I log out, sometimes it leaves my group trading on and sometimes it deselects it, like, and I need to go reselect it, but I'll forget to check it. And then I'll go to enter.
I was always told to make sure it's on.
My typical size is 5 micros per account in my fundeds. And so I'll go 25 micros because I'm copy trading 5 funded accounts, and I will accidentally enter 25 micros on one account.
Oh,
because the group trading isn't selected. And that is always very frustrating when it happens. But it's I know that it could happen, so I should be checking it. I just don't always remember to check it. You know, it's just one of those lessons I'm learning over and over again. Like, how do I need to learn this again?
Have a little checklist just before you start.
Yeah.
Make sure my copy trade is on. I'm not to copy trading yet, but once I get there.
Yeah. I've had it like even happen mid-session where it like isn't selected anymore. And I'm like I selected it. I already did a trade. Everything was selected. I didn't push anything. So I don't know. For someone who trades, I'm like kind of technologically challenged, I would say. I had to have Gene and Jacob, my trading buddies that I trade with in Team Bowl, I had to have them come over and set up my whole thing, my whole PC thing for me, and like get my cameras connected and get the OBS set up because I just struggle. So, you know, it's one of those things. Nice trade, too risky. I don't think that was very risky. It was a pretty tight stop. 20-point stop. It's pretty good for NQ. Yeah, I've also accidentally entered minis instead of micros. I've also accidentally entered gold instead of NQ. I don't know if anyone else has ever, because you know the tabs on the top, and I won't realize that I am on gold from when I was trading Asia session the night before or something. I'll go to enter and be like, oh, I just entered 5 micros per 50K account on gold, which is, in my opinion, a little bit too much. Are we getting Trade C next week? When do you think? I'm so looking forward to trying it. I don't know when, honestly. I think it's supposed to be by the end of the month, which would be the end of this week, but I could be incorrect. I do not have the inside scoop.
I was looking for it because I just saw an email so I could answer her. Let's see.
So the trim that I talked about, right at the high of these bodies, right? That's exactly where we reversed, which is why I do that often, because I take this type of trade a lot, right? And if we are going to put in a lower high, it's not uncommon for it to be put in right around this area as we push up, right? So technically haven't been stopped hypothetically on the runners at break even yet. But that was at that trim spot a 2.5R trade, which I think is pretty solid. Good enough for me. All right, has everybody liked the stream so far? If not, make sure you go give us a like. And definitely subscribe. Bouncing again. So the way that I manage my trades, I would have been out of this trade right here because I typically, actually, I probably would have been trailing my runners below the previous candle after I trimmed. I at least will move to break even. It depends on the trade. But overall, that was a solid trade. For anyone who took it, congratulations. Got an engulfing higher volume candle on the 5-minute, which tells me we might want to really start pushing down now. Let's see. I'm glad you like the stream. Make sure you tell the peeps, the Tradeify peeps, that you love us. We need all the good feedback. I wonder why we turned around at that point. I wonder if there's like a fib right there or something, you know? Alrighty. I think Lev E6V said he was in the shorts. Had you been in the shorts or you re-entered the shorts?
Oh, my dog.
Like to see this continue downside. Yeah, I think we could see more downside too, especially after that 5-minute candle. For sure. Breaking structure, kind of starting to get close to breaking structure on the 5-minute. We put in a lower high. We had an engulfing higher volume 5-minute candle. Like all signs for me, price action and volume analysis wise, are pointing for at least a deeper pullback. I don't know if I see the full reversal yet, mainly because over here, everything is still technically trending up. The only thing that really has broken structure and started to push down is Amazon. So we will see. We could also pull down, which is in alignment with tapping into that 15-minute fair value gap. I don't trade fair value gaps, but I did for a short period of time, so I still see them. But you can see that like the area that this 15-minute 9 EMA is in is like right around the 25-minute. So we could also pull back deeper to test that. That wouldn't be breaking structure on the 15-minute. And then we could push back up to go higher. I would be surprised with how aggressive this buying was if we pull down into this area. If we don't get some sort of a reaction, it doesn't mean we'll go make new highs, but anytime there's like super impulsive buying like that, it's pretty standard to get a reaction when we pull back into that area, because there's, you know, imbalance, as the ICT people call it. Buyers sitting there waiting to be filled when price comes back down, right? So other than Lev, anybody in a trade right now? What's everybody looking for? We did now have 2 5-minute closures below the 9 EMA. We're flipping on the lower time frame EMAs. Kind of stalling out in the same area where we found support before though, so. For me, I don't see any clear trades right here, right? It's easy to sit and speculate and be like, well, we could do this, we could do that, but that's when the over trading starts to happen. Also kind of looks like we're flagging on the 5-minute. If anyone's a flag trader, kind of have this, right? Pew. Can I draw a trend line this way? Yeah. Look at that beautiful flag. I don't really trade flags, but basically when I'm trading and I don't want to say that I'm bored, but like there's not a clear setup I'm looking for, I'll just like sit here and draw stuff on my screen. Do you do that, Sasha? Like, oh look, yeah, it's a flag. Oh look, it's the head and shoulders. I don't trade those patterns necessarily. Like I don't take pictures off of them, but I see it.
Yeah, stuff I used to trade or learned in the past, I can't not see it. So I have to be like, don't do that.
See it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm really bad with stop hunts. I'll be like, I know it's turning around. And then I'm like, there's no reason for me to get in on my strategy at all.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the other thing that'll be annoying is like I'll be streaming in the morning in my group and I'll be like, yeah, see, look at this beautiful bull flag, but it's not a setup that's in my plan that I trade, and then it'll play out beautifully, and then my setup will come and it'll be, you know, the time that it doesn't work, you know, statistically, like not that it was a bad trade, but it just didn't play out. And I'm like, I should have it like sometimes doing that reinforces like the temptation to take setups that are not your setups. Thank you, Jack.
I'm even struggling. Oh, let me see what I say. I'm even struggling with that.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm struggling with that, even switching from breakout trading to retest trading or pullback trading. Like I want to take the breakout.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, the thing is that there's a million ways to trade. There's a million opportunities to get into trades every day. And I think that the thing that sets apart profitable traders and unprofitable traders is the ones who can sit and watch the market move without them and wait for their A+ setup. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, this was my A+ setup. Every volume confirmed, price action confirmed on multiple time frames. Confluence was going in the right direction. It's everything that I look for, and it was a 2.5R trade. Could I have potentially made money if I just hopped in on the breakout of orb today? Yeah, but many days, like no. you know? And I think what really screws new traders over is that popcorning between different setups, different strategies, like, oh, I'm going to do this today. Oh, I see it tapping into this fair value gap thing I've heard people talk about. I'm going to take it, and it works once and it reinforces it. But the thing about trading that a lot of people don't like take seriously is that it's all statistics, right? So like, if you're just like a scientific study, if you skew the study, then it's invalid. And if you're trading based off of your setup that you've back tested, that you've traded, that you know has this win rate statistically, and you start popping around to other strategies, like I used to do it when I first started, I would be in a group where people are, you know, there's people live trading. And one day I'd listen to this trader and I'd take his call outs, lost. Next day I'd listen to this guy, I'd take his call out, lost. And like, I would joke that it's like, I always pick their losing days, right? But the losing days are going to come regardless. You have to be consistent in your setup and not get tempted to jump into every setup that you see and every opportunity that you see.
Yep.
It's the hardest
You
part.
have to run your own. You have to run your own casino. That's why I love Mark Douglas.
Exactly.
Like I understand that concept of
Mm-hmm.
the statistical, like do the same thing over and over, and the odds should fall into your favor.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah. Jack had said that they liked my screen setup to watch the mags. And have those four, which I just appreciate because I get so many comments about it's too much, it's too busy. But I always tell people, you know, like it's what makes sense to me. It's part of my edge. And also, I'm not looking at all of it constantly at the same time. Like I have a system of when I'm looking at what time frames, right? These I'm just looking for candle closures. These I'm watching, you know, more candle closures and volume around certain levels. These I'm looking for more, you know, as these candles are forming. And then this I'm just looking as I'm looking at a setup. I'm like, okay, what are these doing? Are they turning around? Are they hitting their levels? We are really flagging right now. Beautifully, truly. Never seen such a beautiful flag. Technically, if we had taken this trade and respected the stop loss, the runners would still be in. But I do think that we're going to see potentially some more downside.
The trade you called earlier, I would have been out. I still have a hard time letting things run to take profit.
So I would have probably been out of 4 of my 5 micros up here. I maybe even would have taken them off at the 2-to-1 because to me a 2-to-1 is like great, you know. But I do like to leave that one runner, and I probably in this situation probably would have trailed it. But what I personally don't do is once I've trimmed, I always move my stops to break even once I've trimmed. I do not leave my stop in the red because I don't want to give back any of my green. I agree that being
I gotta learn how to trim.
tough living.
Being a what?
Someone said being a flag trader would be a tough living. I said I agree.
Yeah. Or I was saying I need to learn how to do trim and move to break even. Like you were texting me the other day, I need to add because I'm still stuck at 1 to 2 micros. So I don't get very far.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, with how volatile the market's been, you can still make good money with 1 to 2 micros. I would just say be full in, full out if your size is that small. Like if I'm in 3, sometimes I'll just take 3 micros if I need a little bit wider of a stop, or if we're super volatile or whatever. Or if it's like not my A+ setup, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to take it with smaller size. I'll take it with 3 micros. But once we hit that like 2 to 1, usually once we hit the 1 to 1, I'll move my stop to break even. And then once we hit the 2 to 1, I'll just be full out. If I just learned fair value gap, what's next? I don't know, because I don't trade fair value gaps. So I would say whatever whatever the person you learn from the fair value gaps from tells you is next. I don't know. I think that there can be validity in fair value gaps. I've seen them work, but the thing that confuses me about them is just that there's so many of them, and it's hard for me to understand which ones are valid and which ones are not. Personally, it just doesn't make sense in my head. But I'm never going to be the trader that poo-poos on anyone's strategy. If it works for you and you're profitable, then good for you. I'm happy for you. I want everybody to win. I think that, yeah, like anyone who sits and hates on someone else's strategy is just kind of like, it's just negative, you know? Nothing good comes from that. There's even like, you know, there's a whole school of people that their entire strategy is based around negative R trading. That to me is crazy. But what? What's so funny?
I know. I agree. I'm just over people's strategy hating or win rate hating or whatever, because there's a way for everybody.
Trading is an individual game. You just got to focus on yourself. And my one advice, regardless if you're learning a fair value gap, you're learning support and resistance, supply and demand, volume, learn it for yourself. Like backtest it yourself. See that it works yourself. Don't just take someone's word for it and take someone's call outs. Partially because that's going to give you the largest temptation to cast blame when things don't work out or when you're not profitable or whatever. Like, I think the most important thing in trading is radical responsibility. Taking full ownership of every time you click the button, of where your stop loss is, of all of it. Like, you have, like, your losses, your wins, all of it. You need to take full responsibility. It's not the market, it's not the chop, it's not the market makers, it's you. We all know trading's really hard, but my biggest pet peeve, sorry, I'm getting on my soapbox and ranting. My biggest freaking pet peeve is when people sit there and blame the market or the chop or the this or the that. Like, you know, just take responsibility. Your system didn't work, or you oversized, or you didn't have proper risk management. It's not somebody else. Okay, we're finally breaking into the range, or started to, but we're kind of popping right back up. And everything else kind of looks like it's wanting to have another leg up. So line the fair value gap with the golden pocket. I'm guessing that's what you mean by GP. I was just reading the comments. Yeah. Undisciplined traders. It's rough. I mean, the undisciplined traders are always going to be the ones with the most views and the, you know, the big, showy, exciting YouTube streams. But like real trading is boring. Like we've just kind of been sitting here shooting the breeze because this is how I trade. I'm sure it's how Sasha trades too when she's trading on her own. It's like you're just kind of sitting here, hanging out, waiting for your setup.
That's why I like doing trading live now. I never did that before, but I really don't believe in taking people's call outs unless you understand what they're doing.
100%.
So,
yeah, you need to understand.
It took me a long time to learn that. Like, I even join live streams now with people that don't trade like me, and I have my own setup over here, like waiting on it. And it just helps me to like not be so anxious to get in.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot more fun to do with other people for sure. And I think that when you do it, it removes some of the temptation to just sit here and click buttons, as we all know is so easy with futures trading. Right.
Yeah.
I'm in, I'm out, I'm in, I'm out. Because you can talk and hang out and whatnot. But we are testing now this 15-minute fair value gap. I'll say it. And we're getting close to that 9 EMA on the 15-minute. We're kind of pushing through the 20. So for me, a trade I would potentially look for is if we got a close below the 9 and the 20 and the 9 on the 15, we see structure starting to shift. If my confluence aligns, we get a trend setting red candle, I would look for a pullback into the top of the range and the EMAs potentially for a short based on how I trade. But I still think that we could find some more support here. There was so much volume in that push up. Like I said before, I'd be surprised if we don't see some sort of reaction, not necessarily to high a day, but some sort of pushback up. So, what time is it? It's almost 9.
I'm surprised my daughter's still sleeping.
I know, that's amazing.
Rooting me on in her sleep.
That's a blessing.
I know.
For sure. Yeah, NVIDIA kind of broke its flaggy type of pattern that it had going, right? It had pushed up, pulled back, made a higher low, but then couldn't make new highs. But then we couldn't make new lows either. And now we're kind of breaking up. So I'm interested to see if NVIDIA can actually go make new highs. Everything kind of still, to me, looks like it wants to go higher. Amazon's kind of just been chopping. It's kind of like the, I don't know the proper term. The one who's not on board, but everything else is still, to me, holding support at least. So I'm not sold on the sell-off personally quite yet. There's also a nice bit of volume coming in on this 5-minute candle that's about to close in 30 seconds with a nice long lower wick. It opened outside of the range. It's closing higher, pushing into that 9. It'll be interesting to see if we can close above the 9. We have about 15 seconds. But to me, I'm still not sold on the sell-off. And this is exactly what we talked about earlier, right? I said, if we don't bounce here, which we did end up bouncing, but we didn't make new highs, I would not be surprised if we came back, we tested the 9 on the 15 into this, big trend setting candle and the 20 on the 5 and then pushed higher. That volume to me says that the bulls are not giving in yet, right? That's what that tells me. So if we can break this kind of downtrend we've had on the 5-minute, and break the high of this previous 15-minute candle, which we haven't done that yet, right? So since we initially started to pull back on the 15-minute chart, we have not broken the high of a single previous candle, which anytime, to me, the way that I trade, anytime a candle high is broken, right, after a pullback, that's usually a trigger signal to say, okay, we might go make new highs. It's not something I enter off of, it's just something I look for. I started trading, so technically I started trading this very end of April, like last day of April will be my 2-year mark. So end of April 2024 is when I first started. I didn't start trading with props or candlesticks. I was trading on 1-second line charts, doing options with this very silly strategy called 20-minute trader, if anyone's ever heard of it. That's how I found trading, through Instagram. And I did that from end of April through beginning of September 2024. And at the beginning of September in 2024, I stopped that. I started learning candlesticks and I started trading with prop firms. So for me, similar to what you were saying, Sasha, like that's really what I count as when I started, because everything I did before that literally had a 0 impact or weight. Like it wasn't candlesticks, it was lines, it was all those types of things. Yeah, that guy. I got sucked in. I was just a, a mom, postpartum with my second kid, recently stopped working, wanted to stay home with my kids, and I totally got sucked into like in 20 minutes a day. If you've never seen that guy, you should go look him up, because his stuff is, honestly, his little skits are kind of funny, but I got sucked all the way through the full sales funnel. If you ever want to sell something to somebody, just hit me up, because I'm really easy to sell. Like, it's my husband's worst nightmare. He's like, you did what? The Instagram ads, they always get me.
The ones that trigger me, I mark them as irrelevant, even though I like them, just so they'll stop coming. Stop showing me that.
I know. I am the actual worst. I am the worst. But whatever. There could be worse vices, I guess, right? That's why I trade, guys. The real truth as to why I trade is so that I can purchase random things on Instagram and not have my husband roll his eyes at me, because I can say, hey, trading paid for this. You know? Somebody tell me you relate. Anybody.
I do relate, but I didn't want to. I have a similar husband, I believe.
My husband will never tell me like, no, you can't buy something. Like he's, very much like, even before I was trading or making money or anything else, when I wasn't working at all, he was very gracious, but he would always kind of just be like, really? Like that? Like, yeah. Sometimes the stuff is great. TikTok shop. I don't have TikTok, honestly, and one of the main reasons is because I know I will get sucked into buying so much stuff, because I've heard TikTok shop is the actual worst. So funny.
I did TikTok shop before I started trading. Like I had an Amazon storefront and a TikTok shop. So when I found trading, I was like, oh, amen.
you
Thank you. Get
sold
me out of
stuff?
there.
You were one of the
Yes.
sellers?
Yeah.
No, suckering poor moms like me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Well,
funny.
I mostly focused like on my dog's channel, so like dog stuff.
That's so
'Cause
funny.
then you would get sponsored for your dog stuff.
That's cool that your dog had a channel.
Yeah.
I only trade for money. Money motivates my trades. That's funny. Yeah, something really interesting about, I think, my story personally is that it was never like I never got into trading for money. I got into trading for purpose. Not purpose. That sounds bad because I do have purpose in being a mom, but just like wanting something for myself and wanting to learn, like wanting to use my brain again, but not have to go back to like working full time. So it was never really about money until when my husband lost his job. Then I started focusing on the money. And honestly, I think that when I was focused on the money, it really slowed down my progress because I was putting so much pressure on myself. I started making stupid mistakes and like trying to force, rush getting to payouts and stuff like that. And
I feel like I can relate to you with the purpose thing because I was getting my master's degree and I had to drop out medically for a medical reason. And it really messed with my identity. Like I felt like I failed at something. And then trading kind of served as like this university because it's so hard. Like it's very similar to going to school.
Totally.
To kind of build that purpose gap.
Yeah. I think that I don't know. I am a really strong believer that like, no matter if you're a mom or a dad, when you have kids, it's so important to like have something that's yours because it's so easy to get lost in parenting and like kind of forget, I don't know, who you are and like, oh shoot, I didn't mean to press that. And that like it's important, especially if you're home with your kids, to do something that's like challenging your brain. Because if you stop working and you're just like, I don't want to say just taking care of kids, because I think it's the most important thing that we can do is raise our kids to be good humans and like be the biggest influence on them. But it's a thankless job. When they're little, they aren't really, now my son is he's 5.5. He'll be 6 in July. And now he's like my like best bud. Like I freaking love that kid. I love hanging out with him and talking to him. Like he's just so smart. And that's something that's new though. Like until he was like, I don't know, 4, I would say. Like when my husband was gone all day at work, like I was just kind of like doo-doo. And you get out, you go do play dates and stuff like that. But still, you're not like challenging yourself and exercising your brain.
Yeah, I had a really hard time stopping working. Like I felt like I knew I was doing the hard mom thing, but I was like, I felt kind of like worthless. I don't know. It was like a phase I went through.
Yeah.
My job defined me so much.
100%.
I know that's not a good thing, but my identity should be like in my faith, because I believe in God, but I was having identity in like my job and my success and my money I'm bringing home. So.
Totally. Yeah. I think that I can't think of a single mom I've ever met that stopped working to just be home with their kids and didn't struggle a little bit with like their identity and their purpose and all of that. I think maybe the one exception to that would be like, there's a couple of moms that I know that didn't really have like full careers, right? They really didn't like their jobs. They were more like, just like jobs to pay the bills, like working at, Lululemon or something. And for them, it was like relief to not have to work. But even at that point, like you get to a certain point where you're like, for me, I was like, I felt like I went from a career where I was constantly like reading research articles and like really challenging myself, and my background's in like nutrition and sports nutrition, performance nutrition. I read a lot of scientific studies and stuff like that daily. And then you go to like only reading like freaking Dr. Seuss and like, you know, Pout Pout Fish. And like, you're just like, okay, like I feel like my brain is just disintegrating inside of my head. Y'all, this chop is brutal. We're kind of just squeezed between these two EMAs, top of the zone. I still personally favor the idea of pushing higher from here based off of price action, volume, structure. We closed back above the 9 finally. And we are getting some momentum to the upside on Apple. We did just make a new high, barely, but we did on NVIDIA. So I still think that we could get this leg up. We just kind of have to break out of this consolidation. So let's see what's happening in the chat. Since we aren't getting much movement right now, I think you want to take a quick break, Sasha, and we'll do a quick commercial and then we'll hop back on.
Yeah.
Tradeify. We believe traders deserve a better way to trade. No endless evaluations, no unnecessary barriers, just a direct path to capital. Built for real traders who want to focus on what matters most, the next trade. With instant funding, you're not waiting weeks to prove yourself. You're working to get payouts from day one. It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. If you can trade, you deserve real opportunity. We built Tradeify to give traders funded capital without the delays, complications, or fine print. Our advanced trading journal tracks every detail of your performance, giving you the insights you need to consistently improve. When you trade with us, you control your profits. We take on the risk that holds most traders back, because that's how funded trading should work. Trading is hard enough. You need a partner who provides the structure, the speed, and the support so you can stay focused on execution. Confidence comes from knowing you have capital behind you and a firm that moves as fast as you do. This is Tradeify, funded trading built for real traders.
A wise old man once said, "Survival of the fittest." The strongest don't just survive. They adapt. Outsmart. Outmove. Outlast. Don't just hold your ground. Change it. Don't just survive. Adapt. Tradeify, the champion mindset.
You want to learn more about trading but scared to risk your own money? What if I told you there was a way to trade with someone else's capital while you learn? Welcome to Tradeify. This series explains everything about the funded trading world.
The reality is, gambling is random. Professional trading is calculated risk management.
We're pulling back the curtain so you can make an informed decision about whether this path is right for you.
The reality is, you don't need to know everything. The traditional barriers don't apply here.
Without the proper education or support, this is going to happen. But this is exactly why Tradeify exists.
And that is exactly why programs like ours exist, to give you structure.
We provide the structure and capital
while you develop your skills.
Without risking your own money while you learn.
You don't need to know everything. You need to start with the basics and keep learning.
Whether it's concert tickets, sneakers, if you've ever bought something and sold it for more money, congratulations, you're already a trader.
Once you understand this language, trading becomes 10 times clearer.
This series will show you everything that you need to know.
Check out the whole Futures Foundation series over on our YouTube to learn more.
My name is Asanka Wiratunga and I'm from London, UK. Financial institution visited my university and they were looking for physicists. As a scientist, speaks German, I managed to get a decent job at a bank. I actually started on a foreign exchange desk, so my first ever trade was dollar South African rand because I spent some time in South Africa playing rugby. My favourite markets to trade generally the London session, so European indices. I very much like to cook. That's actually probably my meditation from trading. Pre-trading, I'll always make sure I have already had a cup of tea. My earliest mistake was to assume that I could trade financial markets simply on the back of mathematics and not to take a holistic approach. I'd say my trading style is calculated. I like to apply analysis in a decision made. It's calm. I'm always making sure I'm not too overexcited and consistent. I think a consistent application is key.
All right, guys, we're back and we are still chopping. Sasha is going to head out and get back to mom duty. So everybody give Sasha a big thank you in the chat. Thank you, Sasha, for coming on. I'm so grateful that you were able to come hang with us and share a little bit about your journey and your story. I'm sure a lot of the other moms in the chat are grateful to just see the inspiration and hear. And we will see you next time.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really a pleasure. Like, you've always been inspiring me, not even just for trading, but just beyond that, just sharing openly. And I don't know, I have so much gratitude for you as a friend.
Aww.
So thank you.
Thanks, girl. Gonna make me cry.
All right. Bye.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Sasha is the best, guys. She is so sweet and so kind, and I'm so grateful she was able to hop on here with us and hang out. What do we think is going to happen with this price action? I want to hear in the chat what you guys think. Are we going up? Are we dumping? I already know that Lev E6V thinks we're going down. Are you still in the shorts, Lev? I still personally think that we are going to break out to the upside. VWAP tap, aggressive dump. Nothing till NVIDIA, sideways. Yeah, Lev is still short. Ranging till NVIDIA. What time do the NVIDIA earnings actually come out? Post-market, right? I actually don't know what time that is. I knew it wasn't during the morning session, which is when I trade, but 4 p.m., yeah, right as the market closes. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that moves the market, if it gives us some momentum to the upside. Hopefully, y'all caught some of that initial move up or that trade that we took here live, because I don't know. I kind of agree. I think we could just chop. However, the price action, the volume still tells me that we could break out to the upside. So it's a great thing about the market. Never know. Never know. Let's see what's happening with gold. would have been a nice long off the retest of previous day high, opening print, break back out of the range. Wouldn't have been bad. I don't personally, I usually, if I trade gold, it's during Asia session. I don't usually look at it during New York session, but I've been considering it recently. Pushing up again on NQ right here. Is this going to be it? I would love to see us just nuke to the upside before we finish the stream. We have a solid 10 minutes. I want to see NQ go to the moon. Personally. One hour is looking quite bullish to me as well on NQ. We are a bit extended still from the hourly EMAs, but if we can go break this previous high, we'll have a 3-bar to the upside on the 1 hour, which could be quite explosive. Yeah, everybody's homework is to go read Volume, what did I say it's called? A Complete Guide to Volume Price Analysis by Anna Cooling. That is your homework. Oops. What makes you so sure that we're going short? Lev, are you a market maker? What was your initial short based off of? Your dog ate it. Okay. You've been trading NQ for 13 years, so you know it's going to dump. Schrodinger's stop loss. I like that logic. My initial short was based on it can't keep going up. Yeah, I mean, valid. Due for a pullback. They don't bother me, trust me. I don't take it as trolling. Shit talking is kind of my love language, so you know I love you if I tease you and give you a hard time. I just take anyone giving me heat or anything like that, I'm like, oh, they must love me. It's a great way to live life, honestly. Helps you not get impacted by what anyone thinks of you or says. And I am the first to say, you guys, I've said this before on stream. I guess I haven't said it today, but like, I'm not sitting here in front of you acting as if I know everything or like I have it all figured out with trading. I've been trading less than 2 years. I have been able to achieve profitability pretty quickly compared to what a lot of people said I should expect, which I'm very grateful for. But I am still learning every day. I'm still making mistakes and trying to you know, grow. And like, I view this opportunity, like I can learn from, I try to view every person in a way that, from the standpoint of like, I can learn something from everybody, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know why that was so hard to get out, but like, I think in life, not just in trading, but every person that I encounter can teach me something because they've had a different life experience than I have. And everybody's experiences and lessons that they've had to learn are valid. And so I am curious to hear from people. I like reading in the chat what trades you're taking, what your logic is behind them. I don't sit here going like, hey, I have the superior strategy. Like I said earlier, I don't think there is a superior strategy. I think that the best strategy for each person is the strategy that makes sense to you, that you can follow, that you can stick to. Of course, it needs to like make sense mathematically with your win rate and your risk management and all of that. I think what's not the best strategy is, you know, full porting news, right? But thanks, guys. I'm still waiting to hear if we're going to have a giveaway or not. I have not gotten clearance. Oh, I missed it 3 minutes ago. I did get clearance to do a giveaway. Okay, what are we giving away? Do I get to choose? I think we just go big or go home, right? I'm waiting for exact clearance on what we're giving away, but Colin, is it the keyword? Do I do a keyword and we have them put it in the chat? Okay. Can it be long? Okay. It's 3 words, but I'm putting no spaces. Okay, guys, we're going to do, can we give away a 50K lightning funded? Yes. Let's go. 50K lightning funded. Keyword, type it in the chat, is, can we do it now? Okay, wait, hold on. He needs a second. You guys, I clearly am a noob at this, so just be gracious with me, okay? I've never done a giveaway on the Tradeify stream before. 50K lightning funded. We're going to end it with a bang. Okay, keyword, type it in the chat, no spaces, don't get clapped. Because I talked about getting clapped a lot, right? Don't get clapped. Type it in the chat. Only once in the chat. I think I've heard before that if you do it more than once, you get disqualified. All right. I see him coming through. Don't do it more than once, people. Don't do it more than once. Don't get clapped. Don't get clapped. Only do it once. You'll get smacked. Yeah. All right. Everybody have a chance to type it? I don't know what happens next. I'm guessing you do something in the background, Colin. Are we ready? Did everyone get it in? I'm going to give you 10 more seconds to get it in. Don't get clapped. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Colin's going to run it. I also think we're breaking out to the upside. Think it's happening. You put it in the chat, or I'm putting it? Okay. Hold tight, guys. Also, starting to push to the upside a little. We finally broke a high of a previous 15-minute candle. Could this be the move that we've been waiting for? Uh-oh, we have to run it again. Be patient, my friends. Oh, wait, there it is. Congratulations, Trade Cadet. You won a 50K Lightning funded with Tradeify, the GOAT of all prop firms. Congrats. So now, what? Sorry, Colin. What do I have them do now? Do they know what to do? Respond in the chat. Trade Cadet, respond in the chat so we know you're here. And then make sure you have your email in your YouTube description. Are you here, Trade Cadet? Also, this is kind of one of those, like, I don't want to say I told you so, but I think we're breaking out to the upside. Yay, you're here. Congrats. Okay, make sure that you have your email that's associated with your Tradeify account in your YouTube description. And we'll get that 50K Lightning funded to you. I'm so happy that we're seeing this break to the upside finally, right as we're closing the stream. It makes me feel really good. It's been so great being on here with you guys. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a blast. I always love when I get to come on stream with Tradeify. And if you are new to me and you want to follow me, you can find me on Instagram at jen.ketter, Ketter. And I'll be on again soon, hopefully. So thank you guys and safe trading.